As Pennywise lost his battle to the Lost Boys as they were growing up, he thought it was over for him. The great Pennywise defeated by normal people. How could this be? When suddenly he would wake up in a new reality. As he looked around, the sky was red. Buildings around him, people with red skin. Was this the afterlife? No, he was an interdimensional being. How did he end up here? Pennywise was confused. He would walk around and observe his surroundings as he saw that people here would be far harder to intimidate. Overlords and people like that won't get intimidated easily. So Pennywise would have to go for easy prey. As he started to look at everyone around him, he started to get an idea. Imps seemed little. They seemed weak. Maybe he can use his powers to, well, have the advantage. As it decided to hide into the shadows and begin to use his powers to lure imps in to feed. And this strategy actually worked for quite a while, until one day, people would start to take notice. As Overlords would decide to investigate some abandoned tunnels. These tunnels were built before the extermination. When the extermination happened, they collapsed. However, there were still areas for people that could travel. As Jestiel and a few other Overlords walked in, it would see them, and even though they were much stronger, it knew the only way it could survive is if it intimidated them. As Jestiel was walking alone, suddenly he would feel the world start to quake as a giant spider started to crawl towards him. Jestiel laughed and said, "Did you really think I'm scared of spiders?" But suddenly the spiders would shoot out baby spiders, and the baby spiders would turn into babies. And well, in canon, we don't know really what Jestiel's scared of, but for this scenario, we'll say he's scared of babies, because babies are loud and annoying, and it would be funny if a big tough guy was scared of babies. As the babies continued to cry, Jestiel began to shake. The loud noise, the helplessness of the babies, it all got to him. As Pennywise walked up and said, "I wonder what's the story here." "I can look up, Penny." "Why you're scared of babies like this?" As then suddenly Jestiel smirked and said, "Do you think a small fear will stop me from defeating you?" As he turned around, Pennywise was gone. Pennywise knew he was defeated by kids than adults. So if they're not scared, it doesn't really affect them. And these people with literal powers are stronger than them if they can conquer their fears. That's why Pennywise used it to escape. As Pennywise was running away, however, another Overlord would be hunting him. That Overlord's name was Vox. As Vox started to walk around, he got a sense that he could use this to beat Alastor, use his greatest fear against him, and then when he was distracted, hit him with his electricity. As suddenly, he would see Alastor. As Vox said, "What are you doing here?" "Finishing you off. After all, TV is great, but nothing beats the classics." As Alastor said this, he would start to laugh. As Vox fought him, he couldn't win. No matter what he did, it didn't even do damage to him. He began to shake in fear as Alastor got stronger and stronger. It seemed like he was going to win. But then Vox smirked and said, "You almost fooled me, Pennywise." As then he turned back into the clown, he would say, "Vox, we could talk about this." Vox would say, "Sorry, but your skills are, well, they're just too useful." As then Vox would suddenly grab Pennywise and begin to drag him. As he brought him back to the Vees hideout, Velvet and Val both looked at him. Val says, "He can turn into anyone, right?" That gives me an idea." Vox would say, "Ew. Listen, we need to make things serious. I have a plan for him to get back at Angel and Alastor, so we can both win." Val would say, "Really? Let's hear it." He will go into the hotel disguised, and he'll learn what makes them scared, and he'll start to scare them, start to push them over the edge, and sabotage everything. Angel will come running back to you, and Alastor's little project will fail, as the princess will run home. As they both looked at each other, they said, "Alright, but how do we know we have insurance?" As Pennywise was captured, Vox would simply stand down, as Valentino would hold up a contract, and you'll get your freedom once you complete your mission. Pennywise would have no choice but to sign the contract, as then he came in with a disguise, as he would pretend just to be a normal sinner. But for the sake of this video, we'll just show him in his, normal clown outfit, because making a disguise and having to be in every picture is kind of annoying. So anyway, Pennywise would be in there, and he would get along with everyone, but Alastor would tell that something was quite wrong with him. One day, as Pennywise was in his room, suddenly Alastor would appear. Alastor wanted to check in on Pennywise. He didn't know he was Pennywise yet, but he had suspicions that something off was going on, that there was something weird about him. He would say, "So how are you doing, my friend?" He would say, "Oh, I'm good." "Is that so? Alright, Rick." That was his fake name. As in, Alastor and Pennywise started to talk. Alastor managed to drop hints that he knew what was going on, but he didn't really know. He was hoping Pennywise would slip up, but he wasn't that dumb. As Alastor said, "If you ever need help, let me know," as then he walked out. Pennywise would sigh a sigh of relief, as he was a much better spy than Sir Pentious. He would sow chaos and pretend to be other people in different times. One day, though, he got really full of himself. As Angel was walking away from Val, suddenly Pennywise would turn into Val. As Angel saw him, begin to shake. What are you doing here?" "Oh, Angel, do you really think you can live away from me?" "Oh, please, I made you, Angel. You're nothing without me." Angel would say, "That's not true. I have friends. I have people here." "People? They didn't make you. I made you. Without me, you'd be nothing. Come back and live with me." As Angel and, Pennywise, disguised as it, was getting into an argument, suddenly Valentino would say, "I'll be here when you want me," as then he disappeared. Angel was shocked, as then he went back. Pennywise was super happy with this stunt, and he felt like he could do more. One day, Alastor would be off doing something, but Husk didn't know that, as Husk was at the bar and everyone else was gone. It was late night. He was about to head up to his room when suddenly Pennywise, disguised as Alastor, would walk towards him. Pennywise was hungry. He wanted fear. He needed fear. His spy mission could wait. He needed to survive. As Husk would say, "What are you doing here, boss?" "Collecting what is owed to me." "I've been thinking you may have been getting too rousy. Maybe you're thinking of getting rid of me, rising up." Husk would say, "I would never do that." As suddenly he would smile, as he would look more demonic and more fearful. Alastor could already make himself bigger and scary, so this was easier. All he had to do was act like Alastor. Pennywise enjoyed this. He enjoyed torturing people. He enjoyed their suffering. And he enjoyed the food that it gave him. As Pennywise began to get this food, as Pennywise began to get this substance, he began to enjoy himself more and more and more. However, eventually he would get too cocky, and Alastor would take notice. As he was in his room, Alastor would walk in, and Pennywise would say hello, as then suddenly Alastor would look at him and say, "Did you really think I wouldn't notice?" Pennywise would start to back up as he said, "What do you mean?" Alastor would say, "I know who you are. You're the fear demon. You suddenly vanished, but now I've heard of Husk and Angel encountering people, which is strange because I was never around when Husk saw me. But I have a deal. I'm guessing the Vees put you up to this. There's a way to break the contract. Destroy them, and I'll help you. Deal?" Pennywise says, "Why should I take a deal with you, who's under someone's," but then look at him and say, "If you try to scare me, that will be the last person you ever scare." As then Pennywise said, "Alright." As then Pennywise would go back to the Vees. Vox and Val were both there. "So did you come up with the plan?" Pennywise would say, "Yes, I did." As then suddenly Pennywise would turn into Angel and say, "I'm leaving you, Val. I found someone far hotter than you. Besides, you're no fun anymore." As then he turned into Alastor and began to scare Vox. This shocked them and made them be scared. Now this wouldn't last forever, but as they were scared, Alastor began to sneak up on them. His tricks wouldn't last forever, especially against Overlords. Overlords had strong mental power, so it's not like he could do it forever. However, with Vox and Val being distracted, suddenly Alastor would throw angelic weapons at both of them. As Vox would be able to dodge, Val would fall to the floor, destroyed. As then he would start to yell, "How dare you!" Then Pennywise would also turn into Alastor, as they would both distract Vox. Vox didn't know who was who, and he heard both of their voices and enraged him, making him go crazy. Eventually, though, they're able to make him perish. Afterwards, Pennywise was free, as Alastor said, "What are you going to do now? You have to feed to survive on fear, right? But Overlords are strong against it." Pennywise says, "Don't worry, I have a plan." As then he walked out, the Vees were defeated. Alastor and Pennywise together managed to destroy the Vees. And that's going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I really enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. It was really enjoyable for me too. Yeah, Pennywise is a great character. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but he was defeated by kids the first time because they didn't fear him. Now, Pennywise could have used magic and stuff to beat them, but if he can be beat by kids, I'm pretty sure Overlords could beat him if they actually master their fear. Which, would they or would they not? That's kind of like a big question. But since they're powerful Overlords, I just assume they would. So yeah, maybe I'm not giving Pennywise enough credit here. Besides, I feel like him working as a spy, then betraying, is a far more interesting story than he just scares people. Because, you know, I don't have the equipment to make like a good horror movie or something, like to make it scary and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't have any like of those editing skills or anything like that. So I have to make a unique story, and I feel like this story was definitely that. Hope you are having an amazing day. My day's been interesting. It started out really good, but then I had a fight with family, and it's dumb over dumb things. You know how life is. You fight over the dumbest things, but you love them. I don't know. You make choices, and then maybe you think those choices shouldn't have been made. Maybe you think, what if I didn't do that, or what if I did this instead? I just want to go back in time. I would do anything not to do that. It's just a lot of emotional things and stuff going around. It's just, I don't know. You ever wish that life was just a dream and you would just wake up like a couple years before, or like something like that, before you did something? I mean, I guess my channel wouldn't be as big if I woke up, so maybe I'm glad it's not a dream for that sake, but for other reasons, personal reasons, sorry. I don't really like to dump on people, but I don't know. Since you guys don't really know who I am, and I never plan on doing a face reveal, spoiler, unless we got like 100,000, and I don't think it'll ever happen. Basically, I could just, as long as I don't say something horrible or offensive, I can just say whatever I want, pretty much, because it's a nice way to express myself, and I feel like you should do it too. Don't say anything horrible or bad, but expressing yourself is very important, and that's what's so cool about online, because if people don't know you, you could just talk about things going on in your life. Obviously, you don't want to leak any personal info, but I'm sure you know that. Anyway, love you all. Hope you had a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.